Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I just wanted to do a quick rundown of RDC, which was last weekend. I thought it'd be easy just to do one video, put all the little GoPro bits and bobs and on board, and the bits that some of the people that come up videoed. We went up there Friday night. Me and Sarah have been prepping for probably nearly a couple of weeks because I just sold the truck and bought a van, so we decided that we'd try and sleep in the van. So we had to prep, clean out the inside, painted it all, done all that, managed to get it all prepped in time, ready to go. Drove up Friday night. I think we turned up about 9:30, something like that, at the track. Had some noodles on a little camping stove. I think Sarah's got some footage of us messing about in the evening before we finally got some kit. Hey everyone, it's about 11 o'clock. We're just about to go to bed, and our first ever night in the back of the van. We just had some noodles and these bad boys. Winner. So we stayed over in the van, which wasn't too bad, other than the fact it was pouring down in the evening and the noise of the rain hitting the roof was quite loud. But other than that, I actually slept pretty well in the van, better than I thought, to be honest. So that was good. Anyway, on to the morning. Saturday morning, got up. I'd already unloaded the car and stuff the night before, so it was pretty much just go over a couple of things. We had scrutineering, so basically they just came around, give you your banner, had a quick check that your electrical your electrical cut off, the pull cord and that, it cuts the engine, just had a quick look, they did a quick look around. Yeah, so we went out to do some practice, which felt super short. Like, I'm only comparing it to my experience from doing some drift cup rounds and a few other little mini sort of competition things I've been done. My first run wasn't until about 10:30, and that wasn't because I was doing something for the car for ages before I queued up. I probably spent a couple minutes when we got back after the briefing just getting a few bits together. I did have to adjust my electric fan for the coolant is on a switch. I just adjust that inside because I forgot to wire it in. Anyway, I sorted that out, but that didn't take very long, probably took a couple minutes. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to put some videos now up of a few single runs, and then I'll put up a few chase runs. I wasn't chasing too close. I literally just wanted to, because it was wet. It was soaking, like real wet. And no tyre smoke really coming off or anything like that. So, and it's my first time on these. The Accelera tyres, 651s, which are they're absolutely brilliant. Actually, the car felt really stable. think in total I'd done maybe 7 or 8 single runs and then about the same chasing. So I've probably only done about 16, maybe 18 laps in total. I only come off in between for probably 10 minutes to adjust my tyre pressures and then went back out again. So 10, 15 minutes, something like that. So maybe I could have done another 1 or 2 laps, but yeah, at max, most people will probably have got 20 laps. There were quite a lot of cars there. There was a full grid. It's 50 cars. I know most of the Drift Cup days I've been to, they've only sort of had maybe 42 or 46 cars, sometimes a few less. So you obviously got more seat time then. But it did. The practice did feel quite short, especially as it was a layout. Even though it's Three Sisters and I've been there twice before, it was a completely different layout that no one had done, which is fair on everyone because no one had done that layout. But just trying to learn a new layout in the wet on set of tyres I haven't used before, it was all, sort of pushing to try and get a decent line, which I thought by the end of the practice I sort of had, I don't know, maybe a 50 or 60 point line sort of, in my head I felt like I had an average line by the end of it. I'd done a couple of runs where I'd done alright. Anyway, so we come in, they had a break for, I think they called it a break for lunch or whatever, then we went back out to qualify, but that was, by the time I got out on my first qualifying runs, was about 2 o'clock, so it's about 2 hours after we stopped, so obviously your muscle memory in that sometimes goes a bit. Anyway, I went to go into the first corner and I literally threw it in perfect. I couldn't have got any better on the first initiation point. I thought this is spot on, and then I think I just hadn't quite warmed up the rear tyres enough. I should have done bigger burnout before I started because the back end started to come round and I was trying to save it and I couldn't, so I ended up doing like I'll put the video up now.
Here we go. Come on, Dan. Go on, Dan, keep going. Come on, mate.
Was sideways, and then rather than just keeping the momentum going, I just sort of came to a stop, cut across the track, which, to be honest, I think that would have given me a 0 straight away because I basically straightened. And if you straighten anywhere for more than a couple of seconds in most comps, that's a 0 anyway. So I straightened and then reinitiated again, did the rest of the track, which was alright, but it didn't matter because I'd already thrown it away from that first corner. So then come around again. Now, this is one of the things I did like about RDC, was that when you queued up to your qualifying, in other qualifying I've done in Drift Cup, you queue up with like 40, 50 cars there, you do one lap and then you have to queue up and you have to wait for another 40, 50 cars again, and you nearly forget what you've just done pretty much. This one, they pulled you out in groups of 4, so there was me, I think there was, who was in front of me? I think Nathan Rudd and his V8 Corolla thing, that's pretty awesome. I think he was in my little group, and I can't remember who the other 2 people were. I wasn't really concentrating, to be honest, I just was concentrating on doing the lap. So come back around again, pretty much did another lap within a couple of minutes, so that's fair enough. This time I thought, I can't spin, I can't get a 0. I think the nerves got to me. I went in and I did not go in nowhere near as deep into the first clip. I sort of was quite shallow, linked the first 3 quarters of the track, and then as I come up over the hill down the other side, there was like you had to do quite a wide outer line, and for some reason I watched the video back, I could see I just had too much I slowed down too much on the foot brake. I threw it in. Should have just tapped the brake and booted it again and just sort of threw it in, and then did too much brake. It started straight in, and then basically I straightened up again, reinitiated. So I might have even got a 0 on that one. I don't actually know because they didn't tell anyone after the top 32, what scores you got. Not that anyone was really bothered, but it would have been nice to know if I'd actually just got 2 zeros or whether I'd got, a 0 and like a 30 or something. But anyway. So that was the end of that, and I was pretty annoyed with myself, to be honest. Like, anyone who was there with me, I'm normally pretty chilled out about most things, but like I get really irritated when I know I can sort of do better than I can, and then I go around and mess it up. You just think you spend all that time, money. It's like 5.5, 6 hour drive to Three Sisters from down here in Devon, so you're doing there and back is like 12 hours driving, plus the ticket and everything. It's just you spend all that and then you mess it up basically 30 seconds. You've got 32 lots of 30 or 40 seconds to get it perfect, which I thought by the end of practice, yes, I've got a good enough run to, I thought probably have scraped through the top 32, but obviously because I messed it up, that was the end of that. So that's pretty much a rundown of the whole day. Massive shout out to Sarah for coming with me. The whole week, a couple of weeks leading up to it, before, every night I was doing something. I was either doing something to the car, something to the van. We were prepping, getting stuff in there. She's massive help, absolutely brilliant. I would have struggled to get it all done without her, and I would have been. It was great to have her company on the way up and down. And then thanks Hannah and Steve Soper. Hannah took some videos which I've used at the beginning of this video so far. Steve was spotting for me. It was a difficult job spotting because you couldn't really see the whole track from where we were stood or where you were allowed to stand and watch from. So, you could only really help when you watched the initiation at the first corner. You could try and tell me how wet it was, but to be honest, no one really knew until you're out on the track what it felt like, to be honest. Got to thank Tyre Streets for the partial sponsorship and parts service for putting some money towards the tyres in the first place. Got to thank M.Hepper for all his photography. Done a brilliant job of taking photos in the rain, because I wouldn't want to be stood up there the whole time just taking photos, so he done bloody well. If you need any media, he will do full videos and stuff, so just go give M.Hepper Photography a like on. He's on Facebook and Instagram. Who else we got to thank? It's probably other people that I forgot. ARG, where I work, they let me stay on and do bits and bobs to whatever, my truck, my car, when I was there, so that was super handy. If I didn't have them, probably wouldn't have even got to the drift day. And just anyone that spoke to me, or anyone who's given a hand. Like, so I didn't actually get a chance to speak to that many people when I was there. Normally I do try and get around and speak to whoever I know and tell you little things that, it's good to try and take in as much as you can. It would be, if the weather was better, and obviously without the COVID, so you're actually allowed to sort of hang out, talking through mass and stuff's a pain in the ass, let alone if you don't recognise someone. Half people didn't recognise me anyway, because I've got a shit ton of hair now, whereas anywhere else I've been, I didn't have any. So I was wearing a mask and I had some hair. So most people would hardly even recognise me, let alone if it's someone you don't normally hang out with anyway. So it was difficult, but yeah, it was a good day. I don't want to come over too negative. Like, I'll probably sound negative. That's just because I'm annoyed with myself, really. The actual day, can't take anything away from the organisers. Thanks very much to Gordon and the team for organising it, judging it. We'll see. I've got Perrin booked next, which is down in Cornwall. It's about 2 hours away. That's sort of, other than Smeethart, that is. And Smeethart, Western Zoyland and Perrin, they're sort of the most local. I've not been down to Perrin for a good probably 4 or 5 years now. It was years ago I went down there, so it'll be somewhere different. They've changed the tarmac and stuff since I used to be down there, so yeah, looking forward to that. Try and get out on these tyres, as long as it's the tarmac's average-ish. If it's super rough and bumpy and it's just going to rip them up or whatever, then I'll probably just stick some part ones on the back, make the most of the day. But if I can practice on these, that would be great, because that's what I need. I need to practice on these tyres. I've still got, the same as all the people that are partially sponsored, still got 15% off if you want to go and try these, just put in down 15. When it's at the end of the order, you've got like a bit where you can put a code in and literally just put down 15, you get 15% off. But to be honest, they quite often have bigger sales than that on. I think they've recently had a 20 or 25% sale on, so just have a look around, shop around, see what you can find. But these are great tyres. Honestly, I highly recommend. I was running them all the way around on the weekend. Highly recommend trying them. These are 225/45 on a 17 on a 9J. I don't know how well you can see. There's it's a tiny bit of stretch on the tyre. Not a lot though. Like I think that's a nice amount, a normal amount. You don't want them popping off the bead when they're low pressure or anything. But I don't run them super low because I've not got loads of power. But I think people do run them as low as 15 psi, maybe less. And they, as long as you haven't got too much stretch, they will stay on there. So yeah, thanks to everyone that was helping. We'll see what happens in the future. Hopefully I'll get to a couple more competitions and not get annoyed with myself. But otherwise I'll just be doing a few practice days. I'll try and log as much as I can. I find it's easier to come back at the end and chat about it rather than when you're walking around on the day, especially like at RDC. It seemed like such a short time on practice qualifying, and then I was just ready to pack up and go. I didn't want to walk around and talk to people about stuff. Really, I was just like, let's go. In hindsight, I should have stayed behind and watched a bit more. I watched a couple, but yeah, should have watched a bit more. But like I said, I got a bit agitated, and I think the big thing is I knew I had a long drive back. So when you've got to drive back 5.5, 6 hours, you just want to crack on. So that's what I've done. But anyways, we'll see what happens next. Thanks to everyone that helped or done anything towards the day. I'll crack on, make a few more videos soon, hopefully, and that'll be that.